The overall market is starting to sell off, and in this video, I'm actually going to be addressing 5 projects to look into right now that you can potentially make a ton of money off of in this next wave, which should be alt season. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So the overall market, like I said, is selling off. This will most likely lead to a much deeper correction potentially, which will give us a very big buy opportunity on a lot of altcoins. And in this video, I actually want to address a few that I have been looking into, I've been researching, and I've been watching closely over the last couple months. Some of these I don't hold at all. Some of them I do have some exposure to, but for the most part, I do think that these are 5 solid gems. So as we do really kind of think about that, as we look into what's happening, the overall market in the last 30 days definitely has erupted. A lot of these projects have been doing very solid gains. Yes, we are seeing a pullback across the board because of how many gains have been made in the last 30 days and how violent some of these moves have been. But for the most part, the number one thing that I've been watching for is altcoins that haven't really moved significantly. Now, I did outline over on X many times that, we are seeing a pullback. We're in the middle of this pullback. It's healthy and should be welcomed before the next big wave. And even in my video from noon, I did talk about this as well, that this is basically a shakeout before alt season. And if we actually think about that, right, there has been a lot of information coming out and a lot of triggers that are really kind of giving us a glimpse into the fact that, yes, we are in the beginning early stages of alt season. Here we have from tech dev, another altcoin or an alt season trigger when Bitcoin touches this line. And here we actually have Bitcoin, touching this line, ultimately starting to break through it a little bit. And if we look at Bitcoin dominance, every single time that we have touched this line or started to break over it, we do see Bitcoin dominance selling off in a very large way, which will lead us into, of course, alt season. And during this time, you want to make sure that you have your bags packed and that you are prepared for this, because when alt season officially begins, the moves happen very, very fast, especially for a lot of these types of projects that I'm going to be mentioning in this video. And also over here, we have the most bullish alt season signal. Whenever Bitcoin has closed 3 consecutive green weekly candles above its last weekly high, an alt season has started. This happened in 2017 and 2021 too. Interestingly, Bitcoin has now closed 3 consecutive green candles above its March highs. And yes, these are weekly candles. Does that mean an alt season has started? Now, again, as we look back in time, this has outlined multiple times that when we do see these 3 weekly candle closes, when it comes to Bitcoin for, the green candles, we do see Bitcoin dominance, starting to sell off. Again, I think that's a little bit too early to call it, but I will say I do think that alt season is just around the corner, especially with Bitcoin dominance, starting to weaken a bit. We have been starting to see a lot of the talks about, Bitcoin and around Bitcoin kind of cooling off a bit, but also I've been noticing Ethereum really kind of starting to catch up in terms of, volume. There's been a lot of exposure to Ethereum recently on X in terms of social media posts. The trends are definitely, headed towards the upside around a lot of discussions with Ethereum. So I do think that's only a matter of time until we start to see phase 2 of alt season officially beginning. And I've outlined this many times to you guys. The path to alt season, phase 2 is Ethereum. After that, we do start to see large caps. And, this is quickly followed by alt season, where pretty much almost all altcoins, no matter their size, are starting to pump. But also over here, and this is from Mikey Bull, we have, wow, the altcoins cap has broken out of a 3-year trendline resistance. You know what that means? The real fun is about to start for alt season in this cycle. And yes, I would argue within the next month, we are going to see the altcoin market wake up in a big way, which is, like I said, I don't think that we have a lot of time left over to prepare these bags. I mean, if you guys have been a follower of the channel for a while, we had 2 years, okay? From roughly November of 2022 to now, we had roughly 2 years to prepare and pack our altcoin bags. Now is the time where you want to lock in and you want to start paying attention, because yes, there's going to be pullbacks along the way, like what we are seeing today. And yes, this could get pretty nasty. But the big thing to focus on is, what types of projects should we be looking into? And a lot of the projects that we should be looking into is altcoins that are either one, freshly launched this year or last year, or just, in, the last roughly 3-4 years, or projects that, are really kind of in some very big narratives like AI, RWA, gaming, etc. Now, number one is Axelar. So, like I said, Axelar is a newer project, but they have major exposure to some big players already. We know that Axelar is working with some very legitimate projects in the space as well. The overall market cap for this is sitting at about roughly almost like 700 million, fully diluted value, roughly almost a billion. And recently, back in March, this thing was trading at over $2 and like 30 some cents. Right now, it's sub a dollar. I do think that everyone should have a quick little look into what Axelar is doing, because I do think that that will definitely change your mind on why you should hold some Axel. Do your own research, obviously. Listen, I'm just a guy on YouTube, so make sure that you are doing your research. But I do think that Axelar is going to be a very big player in this space, especially with a lot of their ecosystem integrations. For example, if we go over here, okay, they're integrated with JP Morgan's Onyx. This is a very big one. Onyx is a private blockchain based network, essentially. This is from JP Morgan. This is a very big platform that JP Morgan does have, and it's all based around tokenized assets. Also, they do have an integration with Uniswap, Microsoft, MetaMask, and also a ton of other ecosystem projects. For an example, if we actually come down here, we could see all of the integrations across the board. And guys, this is a very long list. I mean, you can see here scrolling and clicking load more for a while, because they already have some very large integrations with some of the biggest players in the space. And I'm sure that if you scroll through here, some of these names. But outside of Axelar, Akash. So Akash network, I've been talking about Akash network for a while in the Discord. In fact, before I had the Discord, I did have a Patreon that I was talking about Akash for a while. And this goes all the way back, to like roughly 2023, even technically like, early 2023. We're talking about down here in the trenches when I was talking about Akash or AKT sub 50 cents. Now it's obviously at $3.82, almost $4. Again, this is a higher market cap project, just like Axelar. Don't worry, we'll talk about lower market cap projects as well in this video. But the supply to market cap ratio on Akash does give us a lot more upside potential in this next run up, especially considering the fact that the all-time high back here is roughly $7 and like 20 some cents. It's like almost $7 and like 23 cents. I know over here it says like roughly $8.08 in terms of the all-time high. We could definitely hit those levels. I don't think that's too crazy of a level to really kind of look into. But considering the overall market cap for this, I wouldn't be surprised if this did 10x from where it is. I think that the market cap is not too crazy. I think that that is not like a, wow, that's an insane price prediction. I feel as though that's pretty fair when it comes to Akash. And it's also very similar to Render. For those that don't know about Render, definitely look into it. But it's very similar to Render in a sense. And if we look at Render's current market cap and fully diluted value, it's roughly around like $4 to $5 billion. So again, for Akash being sitting, around like roughly a billion, almost like $1.5 billion, I think that the upside potential on AKT is definitely there. And I think that the overall fundamentals around Akash are also there. Even if you go and look at the overall ecosystem, they have some very solid ecosystem integrations already. And if you did really want to learn more about Akash, they have a ton of information already on their website, including, of course, the case studies, which if you wanted to check out the case studies and how, Akash works, what it's doing, the benefits that these players have been realizing in utilizing Akash, you could do that as well. Again, I think everyone should be looking into Akash, very similar to Render. So, it's a lower market cap, potentially higher potential, simply for ROI. I think that they're both great projects, but the supply on Akash is much lower. And I just feel as though Akash is going to be a very big player as well. Now, outside of Axelar and Akash, next up is Track or OriginTrail. So the AI narrative is obviously red hot. And the best part about OriginTrail is that it is in the RWA and the AI space. But this is a project that is not your typical, oh, hey, we're an AI-based project. No, they're actually utilizing artificial intelligence, and they're actually pushing solutions utilizing it. It's probably one of the only few legitimate players in the space that is utilizing AI or has AI solutions in the overall ecosystem. So I do think that this is a project that everyone should be looking into, especially concerning the overall supply for this, the market cap, and even the fully diluted value, because it is sub $500 million, which means it could 10x, it could even 20x. If we're talking about $10 billion, a lot of people think that $10 billion is a lot. If we go back to 2020 and 2021's bull run, when there wasn't as many participants, there wasn't a lot more institutional adoption than it is now. I just feel as though there's going to be a lot more money entering the space. And if we're thinking about the upside potential for the overall total crypto market cap being 5 to 7 trillion, potentially even, higher to 10 trillion, then I think that $10 billion for something like Track is not that crazy. And if we look at the all-time chart here, going all the way back to 2021, all-time high, roughly $2.21. It says here $3.87. Every single exchange is going to be a little bit different. But regardless, we're not too far off from that all-time high. And I feel as though once we do break that and go into price discovery, that, Track is going to be a very, very big winner that everyone should, be looking into. And at that time, they'll probably regret not looking into it earlier, especially concerning the overall partnerships here. I mean, you can look into this all day long. These are a lot of the highlighted partnerships. There's a massive amount here. There's already 150 plus here as well, if you guys do look. But this is a very significant overall outlook on just how many big players are tapped in with OriginTrail. Some of these are, names that everyone knows about: Deloitte, Google, Honeywell, Pfizer's on here. I mean, Walgreens as well. So as we really look at this, this is just the highlighted partnerships. If you look at the government sector, the implementations, even the ecosystem tools and resources, you guys can look more into all of this if you wanted to and do a lot more, research. But they are absolutely killing the game right now. And like I said, they have a ton of solutions up here if you wanted to look more into it. They are actually utilizing AI in a big way. They're providing AI solutions as well. And it's only like one of the few projects out there that I really kind of say, yeah, this is an AI-based project in crypto. So as the AI narrative does start to heat up in a lot larger way, and a lot more money is thrown into the AI narrative, I do think that projects like Track are going to blow up. And talking more so about that, another project that will most likely blow up as well right around the AI narrative is Oraichain. So Oraichain is so overlooked. Fully diluted value, roughly $201 million. Market cap itself, $140 million. The circulating supply and max supply. Guys, look at the supply for Oraichain. A lot of people are not looking into this right now, and I just find it crazy to me. And if we look at the all-time chart, guys, upside potential on this is insane. $107, almost $108 for the all-time high. Right now, it's trading at about roughly $10. It's already on some big exchanges out there. I feel as though this is going to be a very big winner. Like I said, once the AI narrative heats up again, once we start to see a lot more money thrown its way, I do think that Oraichain, Track, a lot of these AI projects are going to be big, big winners. And even if we go and look at their overall website, you can look into their partners. They're partnered up with some very legitimate players in the space that I have been following and that I actually do have exposure to. Like, for an example, Oasis Protocol, Alchemy Pays on here as well. There's a lot of big players, especially around the AI space, that are tapped in with Oraichain. So, I do think that everyone should be focused on Orai. They have been around the space for a little bit of time now. They've been building, they've been pushing solid updates. So definitely keep a close eye out on Orai as well. And last but not least, we have to talk about, of course, MBD Financials. So this is a much more overlooked project. A lot of people are not paying attention to this project. Fully diluted value, 2.16 million. Market cap, 1.42 million. The supply is definitely larger. But for what this team is trying to do, I do think that this is going to be a very big winner. Personally, I have been following this project since around roughly April of like 2023. And since then, I have witnessed the team building, pushing solid updates, continuing to, keep everyone updated. If you do, have any exposure to MBD, I think everyone should join the Telegram over here. Again, make sure that you guys verify all links. Go on CoinMarketCap and only utilize the links that are provided on CoinMarketCap. But I do think that MBD Financials is going to be a big winner, especially with what they are pushing. Like I said, recently they did push updates around the MBD Financials AI cross-chain phygital marketplace. This is definitely going to be a game changer once it officially launches. Outside of this, they are also pushing for the MBD Boulevard and Metropolis. This is two big, things that, in my opinion, are going to wake up a large, aspect around MBD itself, which is the token. I think that token holders are going to experience a, big shift in the overall exposure that MBD does have in the space once these do launch, because the overall ecosystem, everything that they have been building has been taking some time, but it is because of the quality behind it, in my opinion. And I do think that, these are some launches that are going to be very exciting for those that are holding MBD and have exposure to it. And of course, last but not least, gold backed avatars. Again, this is, advantages that MBD holders do receive as well. There's some great things around MBD that, again, like I said, a lot of people are not paying attention to right now because of how overlooked this project is. It's a very undercover project based around the AI RWA narrative as well. I think that they have $11 million in funding from, I'm forgetting the VC company, but it starts with an L. I'm blanking. I do apologize. But regardless, this is one that is definitely overlooked. Higher risk, definitely. So just be aware of that. It's a high risk, high reward, especially with the overall market cap. But if you wanted to have, a safer opportunity in the space, Oraichain, I feel as though, is going to be a big winner. Track is going to be a big winner as well. And I do think that Akash and Axelar definitely have high potential for, being two blue chips in the space, in my opinion. So with that being said, these are 5 projects that I personally am looking into. I do think that they are going to be very big winners this alt season. And with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.